For my city, Saint Denis, I will go over a couple of important features about Saint Denis: location, population, government, morality, language, economics, culture, and its contributions to society. Saint Denis is a city located in southern America. It's also surrounded by water, a body of water, which is a lake, to get some water and also some fish. It's also pretty good after getting around to like Mexico. It's straight ahead of it. The climate inside Saint Denis is usually humid, with sometimes a chance of rain to make it more damp, but normally it's dry. And for the climate, it doesn't really affect too much. Like if it's raining, you'll still see people working like inside the factories making steel. But typically the climate doesn't affect too much. If it gets cold, you'll see people maybe in jackets and going to work. For the landscape, it's actually is it right behind Saint Denis is a bayou where typically some people grow their tobacco, wheat, corn, and some may grow and some may harvest some plants that grow by, like raspberries, evergreen huckleberry, and all that. For the environment, around the environment, you may see alligators, toads, deer, buck, and very rarely black bears inside the forest. There's a lot of grass nearby Saint Denis, so it'll attract a bunch of deer, rabbits, buck, and then of course by the bayou you might find some alligators in the swamps. And various life forms. Typically, when it's raining, you might not see too much deer or buck, but when it's dry and damp, you'll see more alligators, like on the side of the bayou, chilling, like hanging out. And once it's a perfect day, sunny, you'll see deer and buck roaming around, grazing on the grass and stuff. And that's the location for Saint Denis. Saint Denis has a social hierarchy like most cities, and on the very top is the mayor. He keeps things organized within the city. He pays the city's debts and uses the taxes like to help out the roads and stuff. And then next we have the nobles. These are the politicians. They tend to be pretty rich, and you'll see them mostly inside City Hall and the park, which is nearby City Hall. And then next up we have the rich. These guys live mostly towards like the west side. You'll see them in the big mansions. They'll have gardeners and stuff. They live right by the bayou river. And next we have merchants. These guys trade stuff. They're kind of like middle class. You'll see them within the city, like a little market. You'll see them trying to trade like animal pelts and stuff to craft maybe new clothing and trinkets, brooches, or whatever for jewelry. And last, we have the peasants or the poor people. These are more towards the north side. You'll see them inside like cottages, like bungalows, really small houses. You'll see people out front, outside, like on their porch. These are the more poorer side of Saint Denis. Saint Denis is a democracy government. They elect the mayor and the politicians inside the government, and they also debate issues inside the city, which can range from agriculture, technology, work environment, incentives, and stuff like that. And the leaders are chosen by voting. Who is the who is the majority vote for the mayor, and whoever has the most votes is chosen as mayor, and politicians, same goes for them. What titles of powers, mayor, and also the mayor of Saint Denis is pretty respected. He keeps things in line, keeps the city from going downhill. The city doesn't seem to be in debt, It's also great money making opportunities. You can go into the factory, grow some crops, hunt animals and bring them in for money from all sorts of places. And for the law, it's pretty strict because it's the Wild West. A law will typically the main punishment for that was hanging, was to be hanged, and punishments and that punishment was earned by murder, rape, prostitution, robbery, thievery, and stuff like that will earn you up to the California collar. The law is definitely much more harder in Santo probably because they want to tame down the Wild West. They want to become more of a civil nation instead of outlaws everywhere. Who enforces the law? The mayor does. The mayor enforces the behavior of the law. For the military of Santini, that is the law, kind of. They keep things balanced. They're placed throughout the city, so every person that needs help can find a police officer nearby with the vicinity. That is the government and laws of Santini.
Okay, no need for hysterics.
In terms of morality, Santini is monotheistic. The people of Santini typically believe in one God because the main religion is Christian. Although they have a bunch of different cultures inside Santini, Christian is the most practiced of all the cultures and religions practiced. Some leaders would include priests, popes, and nuns, and they all keep in charge of the churches. Like one church inside the middle of Santini is usually run by nuns and brothers and priests. Some gods are worshipped. It's Christian, so it's just God and Jesus himself. And for the morality and ethics, they typically don't want, no murder, no violence, nothing like that. They believe in the common good. They don't want to, and since it's the Wild West and they want to be a more civil nation, they need for people to stop taking advantage of robberies or murdering people. Some important holidays may include Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, and stuff like that. And of course, I mentioned that they're Christian. They typically go to the churches. There's one or two inside Santini where they can practice their beliefs in. And that is the religion and morality inside Santini. As mentioned before, Santini has many factors that go into its economy growth, such as steel, metal, agriculture, technology, hunting animals and stuff and selling it. Many go into the economy, and typically they'll go to the mayor. He'll use taxes and stuff for to improve roads, buildings. Go towards a cause, maybe fix the bridge over a water or something. Wages inside this are probably fair. Around this time, money was as big as it is now, so probably $2.50 was pretty good back then. You'll get that as a bartender per hour. Metal and steel made from factories would typically be made probably into machines such as engines or generators, and they'll ship it across the world for money. And for agriculture, they'll grow crops and sell it across the lands to make some more money, especially with the plague and sickness and stuff. People need some food to survive, so food is a very big source. And then for hunting, it's more of just a hobby, I guess, for hunters that want to make a quick buck. That's the economy of Santini. For culture, I decided to merge language and culture together because they're kind of the same thing. But the language, it's generally mostly made up of English, and then there's some Cantonese. But then there's also, because Santini has docks, so people come throughout the world and they'll visit. So there's a bunch of other different languages like German, French, Irish, certain languages like that. And for actual culture, stuff like art, literature, customs, and traditions. Some components of art, Saint Denis is probably very like I think inside like the city portion, not the houses. They're very fancy and rich. You'll see have like kind of like the old western like fancy look to it. And for like literature, people seem to be like literate. They know how to write, and especially like the mayor, because then he'll because then that's how he would write his laws and stuff that he wants to pass, and also the politicians. And traditions, there's many traditions such as selling hunting pelts to make money, festivals. You can go to the park, or you can play games like poker, blackjack with some friends, dominoes, five finger fillet if you want to. And and there is some schools there. You can find some schools on the streets. You can also go to some barbershops, saloons, tailors, all sorts of stuff to have some fun or to do. And you can also go to like a little movie studio or theater and go watch a little play, 1 to 2 minutes. It doesn't last super long. Musical instruments, you can see street performers, like typically by like the trolley stations. You might see them play the drums or flute. And then for sports, you can probably see some kids like in the alleyways, probably kick a ball around. It's probably not considered much of a sport, but I think it's finding something to do. And clothing, it's just kind of a lot of it's made up of suspenders, shirts, fancy jackets, maybe top hats, cowboy hats. Rarely find any really short shorts and stuff. It's really mostly made up of long pants and all that. And that's the culture and languages spoken in Saint Denis. Now for this last subject, it's going to be talking about the contribution Saint Denis has made to the society as a whole. So pretty much, you've heard me say this like before, but they've had metal, steel, stuff like that could go into creating machines and engines, generators. And this was in the time around the start of the industrial the revolution. So they'll experiment with machines, maybe make like a robot or something with like electromagnetic brainwaves. Might try to experience a little, maybe some mad scientists in there might make some robots or whatever. And for some others, some inventions. Again, this is the industrial revolution. They've been trying to maybe get creative into their designing. Methods for the contributions. They've been trying to fight back the Wild West age. They want to tame down the Wild West in America from the crazy West to the more civil nation. Considerations, again, they have harsh punishments for crimes to get to people's heads that doing like rape, murder, prostitution, stuff like that is wrong, and to prevent the Wild West from lasting another decade more. And that is the contribution Saint Denis has made to society and to civilization. With all this into consideration, please make sure that whenever time machines are available, set day for 1898 and go to Saint Denis and live like the life of the tamed Wild West, and that is the civilization of Saint Denis. I'll climb up a ladder with a hammer and a nail, now nail it.